So to get started, you're going to cut your two pieces for the interior and exterior of your pouch. So I'm going to use this plaid for the interior, and I'm going to use the snowman for the exterior. Now, one thing you may want to do is you might want to add some interfacing to it. If you don't want to, you certainly don't have to. But if you decide you'd like to add a little bit more stability to your pouch, then add some interfacing. I added some to the back side of the lining piece. So now we are ready to start putting them together. So what you're going to do to start is take the lining and take the exterior, and you're going to lay them together, right sides together, and you're going to simply sew along both ends. So we're going to do that. Use 1/4 inch seam allowance. Make sure you smooth it all out, that there's no wrinkles. I can see my edges aren't quite lined up here. I've got a little bit of a crooked cut. So I'm just sewing, I'm following the bottom edge as my guide. And I'll just trim that up as soon as we're done stitching. So I'm going to take this and give it a little bit of a trim just to clean up those edges so they're nice and neat. Okay, next thing you're going to do is turn this right side out. You may want to press it with an iron so your seams stay nice and neat, especially if you did add that interfacing. It might help to lay things nice and flat. Okay, so we pressed that. Now you're going to apply your fancy zipper. So you're going to put it on the exterior side, so you want that facing up. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to lay your zipper across. You can trim this wherever you want to here. Now you want to leave 1/4 inch on both sides for your stitching, so you don't want your zipper pull right at that edge, okay? So one thing I like to do is open up the zipper and then sew this end together. You can either use a zigzag or a straight stitch, but it just helps keep it together while you're working with it. And you're not even going to see this, but I just hold it together with my fingers and then I sew over it back and forth a couple of times just to secure it in place. So what you're going to do, I'm going to line that up with the edge. You're going to sew right over that. So you want to make sure that this part is also at least 1/4 inch away from your edge, which it is because you don't want to sew over that either. So you're going to line this up on that side, and we're going to sew on the left side. So you want to clip this into place. So what I'm going to do is open this up, and I'm going to get some clip. We're going to clip right along that edge because you want your teeth to be just above that fabric edge. So having it open helps you to clip it in the right places. Now you can use a decorative stitch to sew this in place. You can use just a zigzag, whatever you want, but you've got a little bit more zipper here. So it's totally up to you how you want to sew that in place. Now you can see the edge is just below the zipper teeth. Okay. So now that zipper is sewn in place, go ahead and close that up. And now you're going to fold up the pouch to the other side. Actually, we're going to keep this open. It's going to make this a lot easier. And it does help that we close the zipper here with a stitch to just keep everything nice and neat. Now we're going to line this up on the right side the same way we did the left, where the edge of the where the edge of your pouch is right below those zipper teeth. And go ahead and stitch that side in place. Now make sure when you do this, it's a little tricky. You just want to make sure that this bottom side doesn't get caught up in your stitching. So just make sure to pull that out of the way as you're working with it. Right here, you want to make sure to pull that down and out of the way. Now we want to close that zipper. Make sure everything is lining up nice and neat. And you're going to go ahead and just cut off the excess. Leave about an inch hanging off there. Okay, the last step, we're going to fold this inside out and open this up about halfway or so. So just fold it inside out. Now you want to determine about how far down you want your zipper to be. So this is the top, this is the bottom. So you want to decide, do you want it in the middle? Do you want, I want about 2 inches or so there at the top. This is about 2.5, which I think looks nice. So make sure everything is laying nice on the other side, that there's no folds or bubbles inside there. Once you get the size figured out, go ahead and just clip that in place. Now definitely make sure before you start sewing that you've opened up where that zipper is going to go, because if you don't, you won't be able to turn it right side out. Now, if you have a home serger, you could serge these edges. You could also do a zigzag or just a simple straight stitch, whatever you want to do. Right, now we're going to go ahead and sew with a 1/4 inch inseam along both of those sides. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. Now this is where you want to make sure I can see that zipper stop there. You just don't want to sew over that metal portion. But sewing right over the zipper is no problem. Okay, so essentially that's it. This is where if you did have a home serger that you wanted to use, you could serge those edges. They would be just a little bit cleaner and less prone to fraying. Otherwise, if your machine will do a zigzag stitch, might be a good idea to do that. I'm going to just trim this up just a little bit with my straight edge just to get all that excess fray off of there. Okay, now we're going to turn it right side out. You can go ahead and open that zipper a little bit more if you want to. Now make sure to press out those corners. I'm looking for, I've got a couple of different tools that are kind of pointy on the end. Just press gently. If your finger doesn't do the trick, grab something with a pointy end to help you press out those corners so they lay nice and flat. And then trim any excess threads that you have sticking out. You don't want those to get caught up in your zipper. The same thing here. Press those out. I find it's easiest if you put your thumb, my inside thumb is in the corner, and then I use my finger to push it, and I kind of just push it out. That will help really turn a corner really nicely. Oh, this is just so cute. And you guys, these are so quick and simple. They make great Christmas gifts. You can either fill them with stuff or just give them as is. But this is such a great gift. Another great gift idea is to give somebody the fabric and the pattern, somebody who wants to sew. All you have to get them is a fat quarter of 2 fabrics, a fancy zip, and thread. And that is all they need. This would be a great beginner sewing project. And look at how adorable that is. I love it.